helplessness is your best friend, savage.
After I made my video defending feminist frequency, the Atheist Games made a response video called "Going Rampant, Have You Gone Rampantly Mad?"
No, I don't think you're mad. I just think you're incredibly boring.
First of all, what's up with this Fox News-like hostility? Why are you trying to turn this into a sniping contest?
You can hardly talk. You're the kind of... You called everybody who doesn't like Anita Sarkeesian in a douchebag. Unlike you, looks like Velma from Scooby-Doo.
The thing about her is that she's a feminist, just like the feminist frequency. And, of course, she has to defend her.
When I reply to someone, I use a name like regarding original title, or my response to X argument. I don't imply that the original user was crazy. If this were Halopedia, I would give you a warning. Do it again, you're banned.
Funny enough, you blocked me without giving me any such warning. So you're a hypocrite, a liar, and you still look like Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Okay. Also, going rampant is a Halo thing referencing AI instability, so it's a little redundant.
Unfortunately for us both, I like crazy.
Now in the video description, but not in the actual video, he says that it's stupid of me to defend feminist frequency.
Which it completely is. Feminist frequency is a grown woman. She can defend herself.
Because she only wants to make money from a few videos.
Yes, because as we all know, personally, I could let that slide if she was willing to fight for other people. She has never, ever talked about issues actually facing women, like segregation in Saudi Arabia. Heck, she could even make it domestic, you know, like the fact that in Mississippi they're trying to change the abortion laws so you can't get an abortion before your first menstruation cycle. So that means technically you can get an abortion 2 weeks before conception. So technically you can't get an abortion even before you've met the father of the child. Well, heck, in Texas they're trying to disband their only abortion clinic. Or how about Station 9, which stops cheerleading from getting recognised as a legitimate sport, which means that it would fall under government regulation, which means that it'd be much more safer, because if I recall, cheerleading is the most dangerous sport in America. But as we all know, Anita Sarkeesian only ever talks about Lego and how it offends her.
And this is, again, a high-level complaint against capitalism in general. Under capitalism, people offer up goods and or services.
Yet again, Anita Sarkeesian is complained about, so that's somewhat hypocritical of you.
And people buy them if they're valuable, and if they're not valuable, then they have to change, adapt, or die. They'll have to change or go out of business. If people are buying a service or goods, then it's valuable to them.
Personally, I think Anita Sarkeesian's opinion, which that's what she's selling, is about as valuable as a piece of used toilet paper.
And it's not my place to say that it's not valuable intrinsically.
Yes, you blatantly are, you fucking hypocrite. That's what you've done. You've said Anita Sarkeesian's opinion is valuable to everybody. It's going to help women everywhere, which it won't. At best, you'll just complain about shit and bore everybody.
I don't get any appreciation out of football, but I wouldn't say, nope, you can't market football anymore. The football industry is thriving. It's clearly valuable to a lot of people. This is called the invisible hand of the marketplace. What is valuable to people persists, and what isn't valuable dies. You never see it again. And it's only relevant to high-level economic theory. You describe this in a criticism of capitalism, not an individual capitalistic practice. If you think that communism, in which a central authority dictates what is and isn't valuable on the marketplace,
which is what Feminist Frequency often does in her videos, she says that this film is valuable, this isn't valuable, Lego should do this, this, and this, and that will somehow lead to a true golden age in the world.
Is a better economic system than capitalism. That's the argument you make. You don't single out feminist frequency. The Atheist Games doesn't even talk about communism or capitalism.
Not expect he was just talking about you in particular. Do you want him to talk about everything to do with a video? It'd be like starting up talking about Bayonetta and talking about women getting molested on the train station. Or on a train.
A video game that was released earlier this year in the US and 2,000 reported cases of men groping women.
He just rambles on about minute details of Anita's Kickstarter video. This is because he doesn't like Feminist Frequency's philosophies.
I've never liked Feminist Frequency's philosophies. She just comes across as a boring idiot.
And he's kind of taking it out on little irrelevant details. Okay, so his first point in the video is that when Anita is seen punching buttons on the controller, you can tell that the controller is not powered on, meaning she's not actually playing a game at the time.
She could have just, I don't know, show a different angle, show that she's actually turning on the controller, but no, she's not. I mean, what is she trying to hide?
Okay, she's not literally playing a game in the video. So what? She doesn't really know how to play games and is just making the whole thing up?
Most likely, yes. Most of the facts that she mentions in video games before this have either been grossly mistaken out of context or she's gone blatantly wrong. Like the time that she said Bayonetta was a single mother, which she blatantly isn't. She's protecting a future version, a past version of herself. Or the fact that that was the only good thing she said about the game. So honestly, her opinion isn't worth a grand total of jack shit apart from my ridicule.
That's kind of a big leap, don't you think? What you have to understand is that this is a Kickstarter video. It's a commercial specifically to people who have funds, relatively rich people, who would be willing to spend such funds on this project. And so the commercial markets specifically to these people, and it needs to appeal to these people, and these people are going to be appealed by things that's different from the lower class gaming vlogging culture on YouTube.
You're lower class? Well, I consider myself middle class, but that's beside the point. Why isn't she trying to appeal to both sides then? I'm fairly certain she could find a good middle ground with everybody. No, she has to be an asshole about it and insinuate that every single problem in society can be blamed this, and this. Which honestly puts her in line no better than Gail Dines, in my opinion, who I've ridiculed in the past for my own personal entertainment.
Forget about how she ultimately got the funding. Think about this chronologically. She's making a Kickstarter project. She needs to make a video for her Kickstarter project. A video that would get funds for the project. Who is she gonna market it to?
Preferably idiots with too much money on their hand thinking that they can change the world.
It's going to be parents, adults, people who care about games, gaming culture on a sort of...
She's aiming at parents. Really? Honestly, my mother plays quite a few games. I think she's been playing Diablo for the last week or so, and she's actually watched a number of Nina Sarkeesian videos, and I think she called her a bitch, and my sister insinuated that she sounded a lot like a lesbian. But that's beside the point. Honestly, I just think she's making it so she can complain about shit, because if she actually stopped complaining and thought about it, she would actually, I don't know, go out there and try and achieve something with her life rather than just sitting at home and complaining how sucky the world is because they're not bowing down and worshipping her like the goddess she is.
A few levels away and would care about how it affects children.
Honestly, you're a fucking idiot if you think video games affect children in any way, shape or form. Because you might as well say any medium affects children in any way, shape or form. And if you're so worried about it, why don't you not have any children then? Because eventually, sooner or later, they're going to be exposed to medium that you don't approve of, or material that you don't like. Honestly, I think better just talk to your kids, not watching Feminist Frequency, which is biased, hypocritical, stupid, and I'd rather watch my parents having sex than watch any of her videos ever again. I probably will have to do, for the sake of commentaries.
You know, it's not gonna be us.
Don't use collective terminology unless you have schizophrenia, which probably looking at you probably is a likelihood. But anyway, what do you mean us? You meaning the gaming community? Honestly, she should be trying to appease us, or the gaming community, which I've never considered myself to be a part of anyway. Because I personally play games for myself, not other people. Apart from maybe if you include a Let's Play or two that I've done on this channel, but that's beside the point.
She's not going to market it to us, so she's not appealing to us. She's appealing to them.
Them who? The establishment? You know, the people that she rails against? Honestly, my opinion on Feminist Frequency is so low that she would have to save a number of people's lives before I consider her to at least be an asshole.
What do they care about? It's not whether or not she's actually playing a game. Now look at this. We've got junk in her shots. The lighting's not so good. I mean, I'm a wrinkled shirt, unwashed hair. This is not how you market to adults.
So how do you market to adults then? Do you use fine language and talk like this and saying that the world will be better off if we do this, this and this? Honestly, if it was up to me, Anita Sarkeesian would have both her legs broken for her complacency.
The way one usually makes a Kickstarter project is to make a high-quality video, and that video determines how well the Kickstarter project does financially. XKCD did a parody of this in which the man in the black hat makes a Kickstarter project in order to make a video for a subsequent Kickstarter project. And you know, in a lower class culture like this...
Yes, you may be lower class, but I'm upper class because I talk like this, and everybody in England is upper class because, as we all know, it's all about class and how classy you are. And if I say class enough, I'll actually know what I'm talking about for a change.
There's a certain pretension. You expect the junk, the unkempt user, because that's us, that's the people. And when Anita comes in with her high-class videos, she kind of seems like an intruder into our low-class haven.
Now, according to Anita Sarkeesian, she's an expert on comic books, movies, video games, television shows, how to market stuff towards boys and girls, as well as, honestly, all Anita Sarkeesian is an expert in is complacency, and complacency is a sign of weakness, and I do not respect weakness. I think weakness should be stamped out at all costs. And honestly, why should I respect weakness?
This leads to this kind of paranoia. Who is she? She is not one of the people.
I mean, what is she trying to hide?
Meanwhile, the higher class netizens think that finally someone legitimate has come along. It's kind of a toss-up which is better to market to, the high class or the lower class.
Target at both of them. If you're intelligent enough, you can pull it off. Unfortunately, Anita Sarkeesian is just complacent and stupid and weak, and can only target at one because she, in fact, I don't even think that Anita Sarkeesian has a plan for this video. I just think she just wants the attention like some kind of weakling. Trust me, I'll give her attention that she wants.
I mean, I'm obviously, I don't care too much about what's in my shots, but higher class people, they probably look at this and go, next. Anita marketing to the higher class people probably scores more influential viewers and also gets some lower class subscribers. Perhaps not as many, but she cares about the higher class people because
she's a lesbian, that's why.
they can do more for her.
Kinky.
They can pay for stuff, and they can send her message far and wide. You know, she wants educators to use these videos.
That's for people paying stuff for her. Why didn't she just go out there and get a job and pay for it herself? I would have more respect for her if she did that. And as for educators using this video, if they're teaching what Anita Sarkeesian has to say, we're all fucked then. Because I would rather live on the moon if they're teaching what Anita Sarkeesian has to say.
And they've even been used as educational tools in classrooms.
She's not going to get educators to play these for their classrooms unless they're really high quality looking.
Yes, because as we all know, educators only care about aesthetics rather than the actual content itself.
Really high class looking. This would never play in a classroom. So it's going to look professional, like you could be hired to make it. After all, they're going to hire her to make the videos in the Kickstarter project.
How much money do you think I'd have to give her for her not to make the video? In fact, it's been 6 months since then. You'd think that she would at least produce a single video. All she's doing is standing up and saying how much of a big victim she is from internet trolling, which is completely hyperbole and redundant considering at one point or another we're going to be victims of trolling. I'd rather go out there and punch the guys in the gonads rather than stand up and say, I was a victim of trolling, you should pity me. I only pity those people who've lost something that they can't get back.
The Kickstarter video is going to have great lighting. It's not going to have crappy halogen lighting, no white balance camera. My camera can't white balance, so I have to do these weird shadow effects. So they have bright natural lighting and a high quality camera. An effect of this bright natural lighting is that you can't see a TV screen. They're not going to draw the shades just to show someone playing a video game. That's going to mess up the lighting.
Yes, because as we all know, educators only care about how well lit the video is, rather than the content itself.
They're certainly not going to show the TV screen all weird, glowy, messing up because the frame rate or whatever doesn't mesh with the camera.
This would have been fine.
The Atheist Games can get away with it because he's just talking to me.
Plus, not to mention his subscribers, which is about just below 100 or so.
But if I were going to buy a video, I would not accept that. And it will not have a spokesperson looking unkempt like this. She will be proper and elegant looking. That means she's not a gamer geek hunched over with her controller doing her like she might actually be when she's really playing. She looks...
Honestly, I would have more respect for her if she did something like that. In fact, I would rather take a video of her just sat down playing video games. Heck, I would gladly take a video where she doesn't do anything other than talk about how sexist the world is. Because I think that's all she's ever done here on YouTube. That's all I think she'll ever do. And she has about as much chance as helping other women in the world as I do about getting Freddy Krueger lectured as the next president of the United States of America.
Good in the commercial, even when she's doing something that wouldn't make you really look good if you're actually doing it. And that's kind of how commercials work in general. So, you know, there's a very good reason why she's not actually playing a video game on camera.
Honestly, I would gladly accept something like that. You know, a slightly dodgy lighting to make it look a little bit more real, a little bit more homely, a bit more acceptable. Maybe if she did that, I wouldn't hate her as much.
For a commercial. There's also the issue of copyright.
Copyright material is under fair use. Fair use is used for reviews, commentary, criticism, which I think that's what the lecture is being classified as a review and a critique. So I think she would get away with fair use. And trust me, if you can find an entire playthrough of a video game, or all the cutscenes, so like let's say for instance Lego Lord of the Rings, which I think I downloaded it for my own pure entertainment, you wouldn't have a problem just uploading, small amounts of candid footage from your TV.
I know it's technically fair use if she's criticizing the video games, but I imagine if you're a professional filmographer, you would shy away from any kind of copyright infringement.
And second of all, she's a YouTube partner. I think they give some leeway when it comes to fair use under those people. And she also has a blip channel, which has, unless you upload a full movie, you're okay with uploading bits and pieces of a movie.
Maybe the logo would work because that's something she edits in later, but the filmographer she's hired to make her videos wouldn't want her to put something on camera that would infringe copyright. Now the second issue here is that supposedly just having her simulate playing implies that she really can't play, that there's some kind of a deception involved.
No, that would imply that she's deceiving some people. Well, she has deceived quite a few people out of their hard-earned money, but honestly, if you're dumb enough to blow your money on Anita Sarkeesian, you don't really deserve your money.
Simulation is often necessary for filmmaking, but that doesn't imply any kind of deception at the heart of the matter. I don't believe Bill Nye the Science Guy was actually put in most of the scenarios that the show depicted him in, like in the middle of a storm or in outer space, under the ocean, on top of the Space Needle. I think that was all simulated. But it doesn't mean that he wasn't talking about a real, legitimate subject, or that he didn't know what he was talking about. Or for an example closer to home, the internet reviewers, the Nostalgia Chick and the Nostalgia Critic,
which are both much, much funnier and much more interesting than Anita Sarkeesian will ever be,
often pretend that they're watching the video as they're reviewing it, even though I'm pretty sure they're just sitting in a room staring at a camera. I don't think that there's a TV screen past the camera. It's a framing device. It's not deception. They really did watch the films, and they do have a background in film theory.
I mean, what is she trying to hide?
Hide? What? What's this conspiracy theory mentality doing here? This isn't a military operation with redacted documents. It's a commercial. How is it easier to imagine that...
I've just realised that consoles aren't even plugged in. I'm wondering how that would pass over then with everybody else watching this video.
She bought a bunch of consoles, bought a bunch of video games.
There, she has everything she needs to do the video right then and there. Why does she need the Kickstarter? Why does she need enough money to buy herself a goddamn fucking house to make videos that will accomplish a total of fucking all?
But is actually a fake gamer than it is to imagine that she has a lot of video games, a lot of consoles, because she's a real gamer and just happened to not be playing at the time the commercial was being shot.
Honestly, I am doubtful that she plays video games professionally for herself. I just think she's doing this purely for the money. Nobody's ever proven me wrong with any discernible evidence. But anyway, admittedly, all I would want is a video of her just sat down, playing a video game, and that would probably silence me to a point.
Because of other reasons that are good, or maybe it's a stupid reason. They just thought, hey, we'll pretend doing it and it'll be fine. And there wasn't a good reason for it. Why is there the idea that there must be a deception? There's no reason to think that. Come on, she's talked about games. She has an idea of...
Yeah, Yeah, she's talked about them in the past. She's accused them of being sexist, promoting violent ideas. So she might as well just change her name to Jack Thompson, and they can get married and have lots of little stupid, immature, hypocritical little kiddies that will probably go off and accomplish a total of fucking all.
What's going on? Why isn't Bill Nye really in a storm? Because they didn't have the budget? It doesn't mean that Bill Nye doesn't know anything about storms, or that he's, not telling a real lesson.
I mean, she could have made those videos a long time ago.
Okay, understand the fact that she's not just playing a few games.
Yes, because as we all know, we all have to pay for her to play a few video games and tell us all how sexist they are. I would rather burn the money. Yeah, you could burn the money and get better use out of it. You could give the money to charity. You could buy a home and put a few dozen or so homeless people in them. You could find better uses for the money than giving it to some angry feminist bitch who complains and whines about every single little thing in the universe.
She's playing a lot of games, and she has to analyze them.
Look at that shitting grin. Look at that. She knows that, she's just thinking, thanks for the free games, nutwits. Now excuse me while I rub all your hard-earned money into my crotch. Oh yes, I'm going to rub it all into my crotch. Yes.
And she was targeted by this hate campaign.
A big wooden cross. So every time you feel unappreciated for all your sacrifices, you can climb on up and nail yourself to it.
There are hordes of people making physical threats against her, and she was just a civilian talking about video games.
So what? You're saying that I should have sympathy for anybody who gets shouted on the internet? I'm sorry, but I only have sympathy if she has her legs broken, or she loses a hand, or she gets physically hurt in any way, shape or form. If she just doesn't like that people have written nasty things on the comment box on one of her videos, which is the only time she's ever had an open discussion on her YouTube career, then I'm sorry, I have no sympathy for her. She should just buy a big suit of armor and wear it wherever she goes, so... Anyway, that's beside the point, but... Just to know, why doesn't she just close off her YouTube channel forever?
So, she's got a lot of stuff to work through.
Yes, she's had so much to work through just sitting down, playing some video games, and telling us how it's sexist. It's taken her a grand total of 6 months, and she's produced a total of fucking all. Honestly, gotta ask yourself a question if you donated to her. Do you think you got your money's worth? Because if I had donated to her, I would be asking for my money back now.
And she is making progress.
Bullshit. How hard can it be to produce about, 12 or so videos telling the world how I'm offended by it?
If you were to back her on her Kickstarter page, then you would see that she's making progress. She's making regular updates for her backers.
On her website, she's made a grand total of 3 posts. That interview with her on that EXP channel, and that one where she talked about how bad it was to a bunch of gibbering cunts.
And showing stuff she's working on. And she shows in the B-roll footage of the Global News interview some of the research she's doing. So she is working on stuff.
She's too poor to just get videos from YouTube and just simply upload it. Just upload parts of a video game onto her videos.
Exactly, that's my point.
Again, it's a class thing. She doesn't want to look as unprofessional as I did when I took clips from a Let's Play and blew them up to talk about Miranda Keys in Halo 2.
I can do all the stuff that she can do without any money at all.
Yeah, again, my point exactly. She's only doing this for the money.
It's a class thing. Could you make videos that would be played for students?
Well, fuck me if this is getting taught on schools and colleges.
Could you make videos that a major feminist or whatever magazine would commission for their website?
Magazine for lesbians, by lesbians.
Could you get your messages out there and influence people to the same degree without that kind of money?
Heck, it hasn't stopped it up until this point.
I don't think so.
If I wanted to, I would make my videos at 1080. But I can't because I don't have enough space. Space is what I need.
I'm sorry, so you don't have the money to make high-quality videos?
Personally, I'm just happy making videos like this now until the end of time and space itself. But that's a little bit beside the point. You just two just need to get into a boxing ring and fight each other, and I would pay to see that.